Welcome, everybody, to NAB Stadium in Auchenflower as the Brisbane Capitals get set to take on the Gold Coast Rollers. This broadcast presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and the Australian Sports Network and James Bowman down in Sydney. And, of course, Basketball Queensland, the Queensland Basketball League. As I said, I'm John Guarna, and I'm joined by Dave Derwin and Regan Baker. Guys, a couple of teams here that we're quite familiar with. Should be a pretty good game. The Capitals come in off of a tough loss last week. They were in control all game. They let it get away from them in the fourth quarter. They'd be really disappointed in their performance. And the Gold Coast Rollers, a new group with a few familiar faces, should be an interesting matchup tonight, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Brisbane obviously going to be pretty disappointed with how they closed out that game last week. I think they were up 17 in the late and managed to blow it. There's no nice way to say it. So they need to make those corrections. And for the, as you say, for the Gold Coast, still coming together, some new faces. So interesting game ahead.
Regan, you were here with me last weekend. Look how cool my mixer looks. All the pretty colors. Regan, last week, Brisbane looked pretty good at times, and then they really just crumbled in that fourth quarter. They'd have to be happy with how they performed up until that fourth quarter, really.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It was a really, I think, frustrating game to watch is one way that we could put it, Johnny, because Brisbane played a really great first three quarters of basketball, and it was just that fourth quarter where it all kind of crumbled and fell apart. And I think the big thing that the Capitals needed to work on training through the week is just having some leadership out on the floor, because that's what they lacked in that fourth quarter. No one kind of came out on the floor, took charge, and it just guided the team to that victory. And they did. They blew that 17-point lead, lost by 2 points in the end. So Brisbane just needs to adjust a few little things here and there, because they do have the makings of a really great team. They've just got to find that leadership, and they just got to close out that fourth quarter.
And I think Gold Coast has really brought in some leadership into the squad this season. A couple of names that we're familiar with in the QBL, Dave, are making their first appearance for the Gold Coast Rollers in the Queensland Basketball League. Excuse me, not their first appearance, but now playing for the Gold Coast Rollers. But we'll get to that shortly. We'll pause for the national anthem. A few minutes away from the tip. Let's see who our referees are for tonight. Our crew chief is Carolyn Hall. The umpire one, Catherine O'Brien. And believe it or not, umpire two, Trevor Lidston. Trevor wearing a few different hats tonight as well. They're running the show here in Brisbane, and he's umpire too.
I'm not buying it.
I don't know what Trevor would be like on the whistle. I don't know if I'd want him refereeing my game. That's to be fair. But Trevor also, looking out for us as well. Pretty interesting matchup, and I was alluding to it before, though, Dave. We've got a few familiar faces here in the QBL, but first time we're seeing them in a Gold Coast Rollers uniform. Sarah Ambrose and also Jackie Luna Castro making the move over from the Logan Thunder to suit up for the Gold Coast Rollers. And I like the veteran addition to this Rollers team. It's been a fairly young team, but Ambrose played in the QBL for a while, has been around the league for a few years, as has Jackie Luna Castro. Yeah,
certainly two good pieces for them to pick up. And, we talked a little bit about Regan talked a little bit about Brisbane's leadership required. I think that's certainly what they'll bring to this Gold Coast program this year.
And for Brisbane, we talked about it earlier, but they need some veteran leadership to step up. They did bring back Stacey Howard into the program. I thought she was pretty good at points last week. Michaela King, I thought, was excellent for the Capitals as well. And then let's see, we're always, one of my favorites is Maddie Woodford. I was surprised to see how they finished because they were so strong in that game. But you got to think they're going to take their learnings from that and look to improve tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the Brisbane bench is going to need to step up a little bit more as well, because we did see some really great performances coming off the bench. Georgia Fagan is one of the names that comes to mind. She had a really good game down both ends of the floor. She really busted her butt. She'd score some points, get down the other end, get a rebound, get a steal, and really work hard. And we just need to see that across the board of the entire Brisbane team if they're going to come out after that devastating loss last week and just come out with a lot of enthusiasm and energy to take this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good game. Make sure you let us know if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know in the comments so we can get you a shout out. And also, just as always, I want to give a shout out to the Australian Sports Network and James Bowman down in Sydney for providing us with all of our graphics and the technical support. And I got to give Chris Sieber a shout out on the camera as always. He's having a bit of a rest. He's been on his feet for a few hours now, so let him take a bit of a breather. Let him get himself in order. We got a couple hours ahead of us here. It should be a good one. And I think I did misspeak. I said Michaela King. I meant Emma Reed, who is the captain of the Brisbane Capitals. So apologize, Emma. Emma had a great game last week, and she was one of the standout performers for the Brisbane Capitals. And I think Emma can have a huge game again tonight. She had a really good impact in that game last week. I don't think she was a captain last week, so maybe a bit of a change as well.
Yeah, quite possibly so. I don't remember seeing her name listed as captain, so maybe there has a bit of a change. And look, the Brisbane team needs it, and change is always a good thing as well. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup out here this afternoon. And to be honest, Johnny, I don't know which way it's going to go. I know you like your predictions before the game, but I can't give you one.
I think this one's a toss-up. We'll predict it at 2 minutes left in the fourth. How about that?
Sounds fair.
Head coaches also for the Brisbane Capitals, Bronwyn Marshall, assistant coach Rory Johansson, and for the Gold Coast Rollers, Coach Cassie Dover, and the assistant coach Warren Carr. We're getting set to tip. Jackie Luna Castro and Stacey Howard getting set to tip off here live from NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Tip is up. It's won by Brisbane. And there is Emma Reed going right to the rim to lay it up. No good. And Ambrose comes down with the rebound for Gold Coast. Sean Woods running the point for Gold Coast. There's Wood. She's going to fire a deep three. It's off the front of the rim. Ambrose, offensive rebound. Gets it out. Three-pointer up for Walmsley, the captain. That's no good. Tipped around, fighting for it. And coming down with it is Brisbane. There's Woodford. Now Howard working on Ambrose, looking to step through. Layup attempt, no good. Howard, offensive rebound, takes a power dribble, blocked. That's going to be a travel.
Well, great start from Ambrose. A couple of good rebounds, both ends of the floor, and then really good D. And a block.
There's Reed, there's a bit of pressure. Gold Coast beats it. Nice kick ahead.
Oh.
Layup blocked though. Good block there by Spies. Good recovery for Patrick. And here's Woods now working off the screen. Goes inside. Ambrose lays it up and in. We've got our first two of the night. Good look there from Woods to Ambrose. Donders will hand off for the captain, Reed. And dribble handoff to Maddie Woodford, who gets inside. Layup is short. Patrick comes down with it for the Gold Coast, and she's going to push. Pass is nearly stolen by Woodford. Goes out of bounds off of Woodford, so it's going to stay with the Gold Coast Rollers. They're up 2-0. About a minute 30 into this one, Dave. Woodford gets the steal off of Jackie Luna Castro. Layup is up and good, and that's Maddie Woodford's game for you. We talk about it all the time. Super active defensively, and she gets the steal and layup.
Yeah, and it's great aggression from Brisbane early on as well, especially coming from Woodford too. So it's just really good aggression from Brisbane as we see Gold Coast down the other end, really fast-paced, just moving the ball up the floor for that nice two-point bucket there. But again, both teams just coming out of the gates firing great aggression offensively and defensively from both teams.
Donders gets it to Spies, goes right at the rim. No good. Here comes Gold Coast, and Gold Coast really looking to push the pace here early. Ambrose out to now with Patrick. Back to Luna Castro, elbow jumper is good. Jackie Luna Castro represents the Mexican national team. She's an international baller, she can play. Had a couple of good years down at Logan, made the move over to the Gold Coast. Obviously loves Australia, what's not to love, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She had a couple of really good seasons out at Logan as well. I remember some of the games we called last year, Johnny. She was just playing amazing basketball, and hence why she managed that Mexican national team and performed fantastically overseas.
Emma Reed, the captain, drains a three. 6-5, Brisbane trails by 1. Walmsley, the captain, gets it to Luna Castro. Now Woods open for 3. That one hits the back of the rim. Reed grabs the rebound and kicks ahead for Donders. Donders at the elbow finds Howard, who can't handle the pass. Woods comes up with it for the Gold Coast. Hands off for Luna Castro. Now Ambrose, deep 2 is up. It's an air ball, and Reed comes down with it. Brisbane wants to slow things down. That up and down game isn't really their game, Regan.
No, not particularly. We saw a little bit of it last week that they played the fast pace up and down, but they do definitely like settling into their offense. Setting up their, typically speaking, 4 out, 1 in offense and just moving the ball around. And, it ends up with shots like that, which can, more often than not, they were really efficient with last week in particular, but that was probably just a little bit too rushed there.
Great ball movement from the Rollers. Ends up with a Luna Castro basket. Coach Marshall has seen enough. She's going to take a timeout. Very good fast break, though, there from the Gold Coast Rollers.
Transition drill right there.
I mean,
excellent.
Ball doesn't touch the floor. A few passes, gets it up the court, and it leads to an easy layup for Luna Castro. Good timeout there from Coach Marshall, though. Got to settle the troops.
Yeah, I think obviously the pace has been a little crazy, and that's okay if your troops can handle it. But often some of the structure goes out the window, so I think it's a good timeout, just a bit of a settler.
Yeah, Brisbane comes out in a bit of a full court press. They're looking to trap. It hasn't really caused any issues for the Gold Coast. Led to a few easy buckets. Do you think Brisbane will stick with that?
Well, it just depends. I mean, I think they're trying to fatigue the Gold Coast guards, so not a bad strategy. But again, often you might come out of it for this one particular set out of the timeout and then go back into it in 30 seconds or a minute's time to try and catch them off unawares again. But again, I like the intent of pressuring the Gold Coast up the floor. It's good.
Brisbane definitely needs the timeout. It's going to be interesting to see. I thought Coach Marshall was going to go for the wholesale changes, but it looks like she's going to stick with the starting 5. She's going to insert Georgia Fagan, who had a really good game last weekend. She brought a real spark to the group, so it'll be interesting to see if Georgia can bring that same energy.
Yeah, she definitely had a lot of energy last week, Johnny, as I was sort of saying before. So a really good addition coming off the bench, and I actually love seeing her injected into this game in only 4 minutes as well, because she can make a real big difference for this Brisbane side.
Donders has it, gets a screen from Howard, skips it over to Fagan. Nice aggressive defense here from Gold Coast. Howard working on Ambrose. Step back jumper is short. Tipped around. Gold Coast has it with Carly Patrick. Woods kicks ahead. Luna Castro has it deep in the paint. She's fouled. That one's going to go against Frances Donders, her first, the team's first. And good recognition there, though, by Woods, finding Jackie Luna Castro deep in the paint.
Yeah, and I like what she did, keeping the ball high in the block as well. As she pivoted, she drew the foul, which was veteran move.
Tipped by Donders, goes out of bounds, going to stay with Gold Coast. Here comes checking into the game, Emma Reed and Carissa Grigg going to check in. Maddie Woodford and Stacey Howard getting a breather. Woods has it in the corner, 8 on the shot clock. Now Luna Castro. They work it over to Walmsley. She fires a deep 3 that hits the back of the rim. Ambrose, another offensive rebound. She nearly loses it. It winds up with Patrick. Now Walmsley swings it. Woods, wing 3 up. No good. Nice rebound there by Spies. Donders guarded by Ambrose. Gets a screen from Spies. They're going to call it a moving screen. Excuse me, that's Carissa Grigg who just checked in. Dave, I saw you shrug your shoulders. You didn't like that call.
It was like a good screen to me.
It's maybe because you leaned a bit, maybe. I don't know. Regan, you missed that one?
I did miss that one, unfortunately. I was busy fixing up something on the panel.
All right. I'll let that one go. Here's Reed. Her team down 3. Donders working against Sean Woods. Spies, nice move to the bucket, lays it up and in. Really good job there, absorbing the contact, spinning away from it, and finishing, Dave.
Yeah, did a really good job just on that UCLA entry that Brizzy's gone to since the timeout. And the last couple of possessions, they've got good looks out of it.
Here's Patrick, kicks it out. For Walmsley, goes to the left hand. Blocked, though, by Grigg, knocks it out of bounds.
Great little crossover.
Five seconds to go on the shot clock here for Gold Coast.
She thought she was Nick Stoddard there for a minute, mate. That little cross.
Oppenheimer has it. Looking for Luna Castro, turns it over. Obermeyer, sorry. Donders, though, can't handle the pass, goes out of bounds. Obermeyer's been playing QBL for a few years now. Has had quite a bit of burn under her belt. Here's Walmsley. Little too aggressive defense there from Georgia Fagan. I thought the first one was okay.
Yeah.
Referees let that one go, but she leaned in a little too heavy on the second. Don't mind a bit of an aggressive defense, but that was a little over-aggressive.
No, I agree.
Pete checks in for the Gold Coast. Here's Obermeyer. Goes away from the screen, loses it, but Walmsley recovers. Now Luna Castro at 6, has to fire a deep 2. That's good. Jackie Luna Castro showing the jump shot. She could do a bit of everything.
Sweet looking Jimmy.
Reed picks up her dribble. Now Grigg has it. Hands off for Woodford. Finds Marsh out to, that's Reed, 3-pointer off. And then they're going to get a foul on the floor. Not sure who they're giving this one to.
I think they're going to give that.
It's gone against Pete, that one. I think
yeah,
just
Courtney Pete on the box out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thought she had pretty good rebounding position there. I thought, if anything, it might have been on Marsh reaching over the back.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have thought as well. Yeah, if it was going to be a foul, I was expecting to come from Brisbane for an over the back, not like a push in the side from a box out kind of perspective.
There's Howard with it. Now Fagan out to Reed. Reed loves that hesitation dribble. They work it around. Fagan's going to fire a deep 3 that hits the front of the rim. Rebound to Woodford. Marsh jump shot, bank shot off. Patrick has it. Gold Coast up 3, 10-7 with 2:45 left in the first. Luna Castro guarded by Howard. There's Obermeyer looking inside. Good take. No good, though, there for Pete, and then it goes out of bounds. Just seems a little, the pace of Gold Coast is nice. They're looking to push the pace, but they're just playing a little too fast at the moment, I think, Dave. The intent is good. The execution isn't there just yet. Woodford looking inside. Marsh, good hesitation. Nice pass, and Howard finishes with the left hand.
Great extra pass.
That was a much better looking offense from Brisbane. The last couple of plays they've had down their offensive end have been a little bit rushed and hasn't ended in shots that I'm sure the team as a whole is happy with. But that was a much better passage of play. It probably hit 8 sets of hands before that shot was taken, and it was the perfect shot to take as well.
As Maddie Woodford with her active hands gets another steal. Picks up her dribble. It's Marsh in the corner. Woodford going to settle things down, gets it to the point guard. No, they work it around to Marsh. Marsh finds a cutting read, a lot of contact, no call. Scrapping for it, Patrick and Marsh. It's a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Gold Coast. Woods and Ambrose check in for Patrick and Walmsley. (10-9) the lead here for Gold Coast. Minute 27 to go in the first. Luna Castro, one dribble pull up short. Tipped around, Ambrose recovers it for Gold Coast. Out to Woods, she's gonna fire a three. Back of the rim, no good. Good rebound and put back there
with Pete
from Pete.
On the offensive glass. Yeah, Goldie's offense still a little funky early on here in the first quarter, Johnny. They started off really well, but just the last couple of minutes, not enough ball movement and player movement.
Nice reverse layup there from Maddie Woodford along the baseline. Gold Coast has it up one. About 35 seconds to go here in the first. I got 3 seconds in the keyway there against Courtney Pete. I thought that's what it was.
Well,
no, foul.
Well, as usual, Marsh and Pete going at it, and the referee sees the last one, and they get the whistle.
I thought they said 3 seconds, but no, it went against Marsh.
Yeah, they called it on Marsh.
Woods looking inside, it's not there. She's gonna fire another three, that's an air ball. Goes out of bounds, so Woods certainly not hesitant to fire from deep. She has yet to find the bottom of the net, though. Howard in the corner. About a half a second differential between the game and the shot clock. Fagan's fouled inside. That one goes against Pete. It's her second personal, team second. Woodford has it. They could hold for the final one. Woodford misses, though. Pete has it. There's 3 on the clock. She's got to move it. Obermeyer kicks ahead. Woods not going to get a shot off. And that's the end of the first quarter. It's a 12-11 lead for the Gold Coast over the Brisbane Capitals. A low-scoring first quarter, Dave. A couple of good opportunities, though, for both teams. I thought Gold Coast probably had the better of the play. Unfortunately, the lead is only 1, so it's anyone's game heading into the break.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a little sloppy execution-wise from both teams. Since the timeout, the Caps looked a little bit better, cleaning up some of their execution. But again, I think Gold Coast did a good job now of adjusting out of that UCLA and defending it better. So, but yeah, certainly anyone's game still, of course.
Yeah, I think the Capitals have a much nicer looking offense in terms of a structure at the moment. They're just not getting the shooting percentage. They're getting some nice plays. They're spreading the floor. They're passing through 6, 7, 8 sets of hands before they're taking the shot. They're just not finding the bottom of the net. Gold Coast is a little bit more rushed and not as steady in comparison, but it's been paying off for them. They've managed to, by having a disjointed offense, they found some really great breaks in the Brisbane defense that led them to get some nice little buckets on the board. So it really is anyone's game, and it's two very different styles of play from both teams at the moment.
Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with the second quarter of action here on QBL Basketball, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's a 12-11 lead for the Gold Coast over the Brisbane Capitals. after that first quarter of action. Guys, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you drop us a comment. Let us know you're watching so we can give you a shout out. If you have any questions or comments on the game, also drop them in there, and we'll make sure we discuss it with you on air. So we're underway here. Looks like Gold Coast in a bit of a zone. Woodford looking inside for Reed on the baseline. They work it back out. Woodford's going to fire a long two, hits the front of the rim. Nice active hands from Spies, gets it over to Howard. Spies inside looking to step through. Her pass stolen, and then she fouls Courtney Peete.
Yeah, Pete's done a really good job. Good energy since she's come in.
Quick foul there.
Picked up the 2 fouls though, so she's just got to curb it a little bit. I can see her easily picking up a third, which she doesn't want to do.
Brisbane also in a zone. Bit of a 1-2-2, it looks like, Dave. There's Luna Castro. Now over to Walmsley.
Well, they're probably going to continue to encourage Goldie to shoot a little bit. 0 of 8 from the 3-point line so far, Johnny.
Good hit there by Walmsley, the captain for the Gold Coast, increasing their lead to 3, 14-11. Donders going to fire a 3. That's good. Frances Donders ties the game at 14. And Dave, we've seen Donders play a couple of seasons now in the QBL, and I say it every year. I want to see her be more aggressive offensively. She's so talented offensively.
No, I completely agree, Johnny.
And she's got that kind of game where offensively she can take over, gets the ball. Yeah, she's got a nice handle. She can shoot the ball. I think sometimes she's a little too passive as a import guard. Where I think there's no reason why Donders can't average 18 to 20 a night.
Oh, for sure. And again, Pete did a really good job of forcing the issue, creating another foul.
Howard
and they
losing
just
it out
were
of bounds.
A little inexcusable on the out of bounds. Just gave it straight back to Brisbane.
Yeah, well, Brisbane returned the favor and turned it over. Good defense, though, on the sideline there by Ambrose. Really beating Howard to the spot.
Moved her feet.
Luna Castro squares up on Howard. Now back out to Ambrose. 10 on the shot clock for the Gold Coast. Woods inside for Luna Castro. Back out to Woods. 5 now, 4. And then they get Pete again for 3 seconds. It's the second time she got caught inside the paint. That 3-second call.
She was there a long time.
She was there for a while. I think they were quite liberal with that 3-second call.
I think they were too.
Chris agrees. I mean, I could see him shaking his head. Chris Sieber is always on the camera. Got to give Chris a shout out. Super dedicated to the game of basketball. Love you, Chris. Appreciate all your work.
It just looks like we've got a bit of a blood substitution as well. Ambrose just appears to have a little bit of blood on her singlet, so they're going to have to try and swap that one out, I believe. So just holding up here for a second.
There's a spare one, yep. 22, Ambrose is going to go to. I don't know where the blood came from. Haven't seen blood anywhere.
No, a little bit unusual.
There's Woodford now in the corner. Brisbane's got 10 on the shot clock. Donders goes behind her back. Step back jumper's up. Hits the back of the rim. Spies grabs it though for Brisbane out to Howard. Howard gets to the rim. A lot of contact. She's fouled. I think they're going to give that one to Luna Castro, and Stacey Howard will go to the free throw line for a couple shots.
Well, that all came out of the missed box out from Luna Castro in the first place. So just got to do a better job of cleaning that up. They did a good job of defending the possession, but you got to turn that into a good box out as well.
Howard hits the first. Didn't see Stacey Howard in the QBL last season. Seemed to have a year off. Not really sure what she was up to, but good to see her back on the hardwood. She hits them both. 16-14, Caps are up by 2. Patrick steps back into the game for Pete. Woods' pass is kicked out of bounds by Howard. I thought it was kicked. They usually reset the shot clock, so maybe it wasn't, but it's gone out of bounds.
I think they're going to reset it.
Oh, there we go.
Chasing it up now, yeah.
Yep, there we go. Resets. Luna Castro has it out to Woods. Nice pass for Walmsley. Patrick's going to fire a deep three. That's an air ball. And this Brisbane zone has really caused frustrations for the Gold Coast. They're very perimeter oriented.
Well, they're falling in love with the Jimmy, and they need to move the ball and get some penetration, get feet in the paint. They've got good targets. You know, Ambrose and Luna Castro, they move the ball well and they operate it low. So I just need the guards need to be able to penetrate.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dylan. They've got Gold Coast has some amazing inside players, but it seems that at the moment all they're doing is taking outside shots, as we see again here. They're not trying to get the ball inside. They're not trying to break apart that Brisbane defense and get the ball inside and score where they're good.
Well, I do think that's a lot to do with the zone, though, Dave.
Well, it is, but they're overloading a side with 4 players often. But what they need to do is then get either those high post flashes and look for the big-to-big action, or simply that high-low, which is what they're not getting.
Patrick hits the baseline jump shot, but that's what I remember, Dave, when you first brought me under your coaching wing against the zone, weak spot, short corner, and that's what Patrick just hit.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to try and penetrate, but high post flashes, short corner. That's where the zone's weak.
Turnover there from Donders. Game's tied at 16. We got about 6.5 to go.
Goldie 0-9 from 3.
Pass inside is tipped by Howard, and Donders has it now. Up ahead to Howard.
Another turnover.
Yeah, turnover's really starting to plague the Brisbane team. That's 2 in a row in their offensive run. So definitely need to just keep that in check, because that massively plagued their game last week and had a big impact on Cairns really coming back into it and get the win. So they just need to slow things down a little bit, not rush the ball up the floor. We saw them play a really nice slow game of ball in that first quarter. Just need to bring that back in and just protect the pill.
Ambrose picks up her dribble, finds Wood. She'll fire again from 3. Long rebound, Walmsley saves it out to Patrick. Now Luna Castro. Walmsley, other corner. 3 is good.
There you go. Just took a 10 to warm up.
Sometimes that happens, Dave. Who knows? This could be an explosion.
On the 11th one. Bottoms.
Howard has it at the elbow. Squares up on Luna Castro, goes right at her, fades away, short. And Luna Castro grabs the rebound. Nice baseball pass ahead. Woodford read it, though, and tipped it out of bounds. Georgia Fagan going to check back in for Francis Donders. Looks like there's a timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. 5:24 left in the first half. The Gold Coast up 3, 19-16. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 5:24 to go in the first half. It's 19-16 the lead for the Gold Coast. Brisbane going back to that man-to-man. Luna Castro squares up on Spies, drives baseline, gets it out to Woods. Now Ambrose, deep two is up. Well off there from Sarah Ambrose. It's going to be Brisbane ball.
Nice pass from Luna Castro. She drove baseline. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the turnovers. Brisbane have eight turnovers so far, which is just something they need to clean up.
Reed working against Patrick, dumps it off. Baseline jumper, Spies, gets it to roll home.
I think Gold Coast has done a really good job defensively of their rotations. Good energy. They're moving their body, showing their hands, the referees. Really making it difficult for Brisbane to score at the moment.
Walmsley working against Fagan. Fagan just swipes it from her. Georgia Fagan, she's super aggressive defensively, carried over from last week.
Yeah, definitely so. We saw that. That's just a staple of her game. A really good defensive player. She's aggressive, she's fast-paced, and that's just a beautiful defensive attack. She's reached in the right time, stole the ball, and it's led to this play down the court now where they've put two on the board.
Great finish there from Raquel Spies. Coach Dover's going to take a timeout, so we'll take one as well. 20-19, Capitals up one with 4:19 to go in the first half of your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 4:19 to go in this one. It's a 20-19 lead for the Capitals over the Gold Coast Rollers. Brisbane starting to get things rolling a little bit offensively, Regan.
Yeah, definitely. And they're doing a really good converting off a defensive attack as well to then piece together their offense. We've seen so far, just a great attack there from Carly Patrick, driving down the keyway. Nice little flip up there, and she's going to draw the foul as well, so she's going to go to the line for an extra. But back on the Brisbane message for a second there, they're doing a really good job defensively, and they've got 6 steals on the board to Gold Coast's 2. So they're doing a good job to get themselves in a position to get the steal, to get themselves down the court and set themselves up offensively. And that's been working for them so far in the game. So if they can keep it up, they'll find themselves getting a lot more points on the board quicker.
Here comes a bit of pressure and a trap from the Gold Coast. Brisbane breaks the pressure, though. Now can set in their half court. Fagan swings it. They wind up with Woodford working on Ambrose. Gets inside, floater. Bank is no good. Luna Castro defensive rebound. Gold Coast looking to run. Walmsley ahead. It's just behind, though, Patrick. Another turnover for the Gold Coast. That doesn't help. They were looking promising there for a second, Regan, but just got out of bounds.
Yeah, good move. Definitely the right choice of play as well. Just a little bit of miscommunication at the last second, but good signs from Gold Coast. You know, they're pushing the ball up the floor, and realistically, if that pass hadn't made it, would have been an easy 2 points. So they're definitely starting to piece together some really good offense, and try again, and they'll get it.
So Fagan gets it over to Woodford. Woodford squeezes it inside. Spies is blocked, but there's a foul somewhere. Not sure who they're going to give this one to. Looks like it's going to go against Luna Castro for a push in the back. It's going to be Luna Castro's second personal, the second team foul on the Gold Coast in the quarter. Donders checks in, as does Audrey Fuller for Brisbane. Woodford and Reed get a breather. Raquel Spies at the free throw line for 2 shots. First one is good. Second one also good as well. So Spies having herself a pretty good one so far here tonight. And then they force a turnover.
Yeah, another really good steal there coming from the Capitals as well. So, again, doing a really great job defensively to get themselves in that right position. Full court press, right decision. Unfortunate air ball there coming from Wilson. But great offensive play from the Capitals.
Yeah, it was a good look for Wilson. Don't mind her coming in and taking that shot. Got to make sure the defense respects you. There's Walmsley open. Wing three is up. That's off the front of the rim. Fighting for the rebound. Lost out of bounds. It's going to stay with Brisbane. Good work there by Fuller. She couldn't corral the rebound, but she denied Gold Coast from grabbing that one.
And again, it's just a really good compliment to that Brisbane team as well. You know, they've got so much aggression and pace and energy coming off their bench. You know, Fuller, in her first 2 seconds of the game here tonight, managed to get that steal. And then we see it down the defensive end as well. Again, just working for that rebound and doing a really great job down there as well.
Ambrose comes up with the steal. Walmsley has it. Has to settle things back down. Patrick getting the Luna Castro screen. Pass is tipped and stolen, though. Brisbane has an opportunity to take the lead. We're all tied up at 22 here. Donders thought about it. Finds an open Fuller in the baseline. Jump shot is an air ball. Offensive rebound by Spies, and she's fouled from behind. Took a shot in the lower back. It's going to be 2 shots for Raquel Spies.
Yeah, unfortunate foul from Patrick there. Just didn't quite read where the other player was, and just on the rebounding situation, just bumped her on the back. But again, great positioning coming out of the Capitals, and Spies just got herself in the right place, the right time for that rebound, knowing where Fuller was going to be shooting from, and ended up on the line for the 2.
Spies missed the first one. Let's see what she can do with the second. It's up. It's good. So Brisbane retakes the lead by the slimmest of margins, 23-22.
Yeah, it's been a really good fight here tonight, Johnny. Just teeter-tottering back and forth as we see another steal from Capitals. Fagan this time getting herself in a beautiful position. And a great block there from Ambrose as well, leading into the foul on the steal.
Yeah, big block there from Ambrose. Donders with this fancy spin move, but Ambrose was having none of that. Foul there on Sheridan Wilson, her first. 4th team foul on Brisbane in the quarter. We're under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Woods spins away from the defense, goes inside. Pass from Pete out of bounds. Just a miscommunication there from Pete to Ambrose. Turnover starting to creep in a bit here for the Gold Coast. That's their 12th of the game so far. Brisbane has 10 in the game. 3 from Donders. Now they're going to call it a long 2. Frances Donders, and again, I'll say it again though, Regan, she's the kind of player that can really heat up and take over a game. If she gets going, Gold Coast could be in for a long night.
Yeah, she had a little bit of a slow start in the first quarter, but she's really starting to pick up pace now, and she's found her form as well, and realistically, as is Patrick, as we just see her float in a nice little shot there. But Donders is definitely someone that Gold Coast is going to need to be aware of for the remainder of this game, because she's put a couple of points on the board nice and quickly now. She's got herself up to, I think those will be her 5th points of the game, and she's working towards a big game if she keeps playing the way she is at the moment.
Wilson gets it out to Donders with 7 on the shot clock. Using a screen from Spies, gets inside, good pass. A good block there from Patrick though on Spies. Then Donders with the silly foul. That's the 15th foul against Brisbane, so Ambrose is going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Second personal against Frances Donders.
I think it's relatively safe to say at this point in time, Johnny, both teams are definitely playing more of a defensive game of basketball, more so than offensive. You know, it's a low-scoring affair. Both teams shooting at a relatively low clip. Gold Coast shooting at 34%. They're 10 from 29 at the moment, and Brisbane is only 31%, 9 from 29. So both teams not having a great offensive performance at the moment, but I don't think it's because they're not taking the right opportunities. I just think both teams have come out with such a strong defensive mindset, and that's what we've seen in the game here. And defensively, both teams are playing aggressive. They're playing spread team defense, and it's really made it hard to get points on the board.
Gold Coast comes out with some pressure. Wilson shoots an air ball along the baseline. Pete gets it. Kicks ahead for the captain, Walmsley. Patrick has it now in the corner. Woods looking inside for Ambrose at the elbow. Ambrose nearly lost it. Picked up her dribble. Bank shot is good from Sarah Ambrose. Gives the Gold Coast a 2-point lead. Brisbane can hold for the final shot of the half.
Yeah, that was a nice little floater there from Ambrose. Just beautifully positioned, great drive. Recognized where the defense is and what they were doing, and beautiful execution.
Fuller gets inside. Layup is no good. Pete nearly has it stolen. Wilson misses the shot at the buzzer. And that's the end of the first half. A bit of a flurry there to end the half. And it's a 27-25 lead for the Gold Coast over Brisbane heading into the big break, Regan.
Yeah, very low-scoring affair at the moment. But as I just said, Johnny, I think it's mostly because both teams are playing a great defensive game of basketball. And, you know, both teams are going to need to go into locker rooms, talk about their shooting and their offense, and just making sure they're taking the right shots at the right time. You know, Gold Coast, they've taken 14 from the three-point line. They've only hit 1. Brisbane doing a much better job in that regard. They're 2 from 4. They've recognized that they weren't shooting fantastically from 3, and they want to get the ball inside and work from there. So both teams just need to work on their strength offensively, reevaluate how they're scoring, and just looking at breaking apart the defense, because if they can't break the D in the current form that it's being played, this is going to be a sub-50-pointer team scoring affair, a very, very low one.
Well, let's hope things pick up in the second half. It is halftime, so we're going to get some dinner, and then we're going to come back with the second half of action. It's a 2-point lead for the Gold Coast over the Brisbane Capitals in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's halftime. We just had a delicious burger. Thank you guys here from NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Got to shout out Wayne and Trevor hooking us up with some burgers. Really good burgers here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 27-25 the score at halftime. Gold Coast with a slim 2-point lead. I think they did a pretty decent job. Both teams, though, struggling to find the basket, obviously, with 27 and 25 respectively, but they're certainly doing a good job getting some good looks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a bit of a breakdown of the stats at the halftime as well, and just had a look at what was going on. And realistically, both teams are performing very, very similarly. Like looking at the breakdown, sort of sitting in front of me, both teams have got 11 points from turnovers. There's 12 points in the paint from Brisbane, 14 from Gold Coast, 2 fast break points apiece. Both teams have 5 scorers on the board. So they're very evenly matched teams, and I think that's why it is such a low-scoring performance. But I think I have concerns for both teams in terms of getting into the winning spot at the moment, because Brisbane is doing a really great job. They've got 9 steals off 12 of Gold Coast's turnovers. However, Brisbane has 10 turnovers and Gold Coast only has 3 steals. So that's 7 unforced errors from the Brisbane Capitals. So just silly little mistakes in that transition where they're just not quite capitalising as well as they should. But at the same time, we saw last week, Brisbane really did go down in that fourth quarter. They just lost that mindset, didn't play the game that they knew that they could play, and just had a little bit of lapse in concentration. So both teams going to really need to just keep on top of their game here in this third quarter to try and get themselves in that leading position. But it's going to be a great second half.
Dave, stylistically, what did you see from the teams in that first half?
I think, again, Brisbane looked better when they had a bit more structure, whereas I think Gold Coast like a little bit more freer there in this motion set. They look to utilise Ambrose as that sort of a scenario where she can be a playmaker in the middle of the floor, and they have guards moving without the ball, or Luna Castro looking to cut and present herself as a target. So I think we'll see how it goes. As we said, it was a very even first half. Again, another unforced error to Regan's point from Donders as she turns the ball over, passing to the red bin.
Yeah, no,
in the corner. The red bin, he was really open.
Donders has a really good game. I do like her game, but she can kind of become turnover prone, and I think that's her 4th turnover of the evening. As Luna Castro throws one up, gets it to fall, plus the foul.
Yeah, that was a really great offensive move there from Luna Castro, Johnny, to your point. Just got herself in a really great position in the keyway. Nice move to the bucket. Got the foul and made the 3-point play as well.
And I'd be surprised if Gold Coast does not try to feature Jackie Luna Castro a little bit more. For me, she's probably the most well-rounded offensive player on the court for either team in the game, really. So you got to think the focus of the Gold Coast is going to try and get her involved in the action as they turn it back over. Donders has it now for Brisbane.
And the challenge with that, Johnny, is this zone defense of Brisbane has stifled that a little bit. So I think they need to be a bit more creative to try and get her some opportunities out of that zone.
Luna Castro got the block there. Howard inside. She's a little too deep. Ball goes out of bounds, though, off of Brisbane, so it's going to stay with the Gold Coast. Woodford has it for Brisbane into the corner for Spies. Now Howard back out to Spies, deep 2. Off the back of the rim, Ambrose with another defensive rebound. Here comes Woods running the show for the Gold Coast. Woodford comes up with the steal. Those active hands of Maddie Woodford. She trips up. There's no call there. I'm not sure. It looked like maybe her feet got caught up with Sean Woods.
Wow. Rough. Woodford gets player of the game for getting tripped and comes up with a smile. Has to be a foul.
Regan? I don't know.
I had a really tough angle.
It looked
couldn't
like
see.
a foul.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It kind of looked like there might have been a foot in there that did trip her up. And I mean, a trip is a foul. Like, there's no doubt about that. A trip is a foul. We're obviously a long way away. Referees may have seen it differently. I don't know whether she tripped over her own foot or not. But yeah, it looked bad from here.
Ambrose got a steal. Now Luna Castro out to the captain. Walmsley back to Luna Castro. Inside layup is good from Jackie Luna Castro. She's starting to pick up the pace here for the Gold Coast. They're up 7.
Yeah, Luna Castro now leading all scorers. I believe that puts her on 11. And, 5 points in this quarter so far. So Brisbane need to recognise that Luna Castro is starting to get on fire. And they just need to shut her down and prevent her from getting those inside buckets, because she could be a big play hitter in this second half.
Here's Reed. Picks up her dribble. Spins to the bucket, lays it in, plus the foul. Thought she was in a bit of trouble, but pretty fancy footwork there from Emma Reed.
Well, somehow she went between Ambrose and Luna Castro and got a bucket. Well done. Because there wasn't much happening.
Reed completes the three-point play to stop the bleeding a bit there for the Gold Coast. For Brisbane. While I'm at it, better give a shout out to my boy Eddie. It's his birthday today, the 12-year-old birthday boy. Love you, Eddie. Happy birthday as Luna Castro hits another one. Saunders gets fouled by Woods. And I try not to be too critical, but I thought that one was interesting because it was so far off of away from the basket, and if anything, Donders extended the forearm. So to me, that's a tough call.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough situation. That right there is a really good example of somewhere where you can sort of start to lean towards a double foul, because by the way that referees evaluate a game, you have to make the first call, but at the same time, there is definitely no need for that big push off after that initial content is made. So yeah, hard situation, could almost border on a double.
Spies picks up the foul on Walmsley, so Walmsley going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. Let's see what's happening out the rest of the QBL action. This is the only women's game on at the moment. Let's see, do we have anything going on here?
I was trying to have a look at it before. I've got a feeling the QBL live stats system is having a bit of an issue, because I tried to look at some of the games at halftime, Johnny, and they weren't showing up properly. It's a bit all over the place at the moment.
Well, we know the Sunshine Coast game did not
happen.
Didn't happen. It looks like Toowoomba and Gladstone maybe have only just tipping off. See if we can find Townsville and Southwest. Don't know if we have any stats for that. Yep, it's a 7-2 lead for the Heat over the Pirates early. That Pirates doing that tough doubleheader in the up north. And Rockhampton hosting the Rip. Rip looking for their first win of the season. That one hasn't tipped, and if it has, we don't have the stats. So see if we could go through the other women's games while we're at it, Dave.
I think Frolling's making her debut this weekend too, Johnny, right?
Yeah, Alicia Froling back in the QBL. I think the Southwest Metro Pirates last night got a nice win over the Cairns Dolphins in women's action. The men dropped that one. And then the Mackay Meteorettes picking up where they left off last week and getting a 64-54 win over the Rip last night. See, let's check that Toowoomba Gladstone score from earlier this evening. Yeah, it was a Gladstone win. Nice win for Gladstone. Toowoomba picking up their first win in a while last week over the Southwest Metro Pirates. So 9-point win for Gladstone. 77-68, that win for Gladstone over Toowoomba earlier this evening. What else do we got? Southwest and Townsville, the aforementioned Alicia Froling back at it. Pirates, though, travel up to Townsville and take down last year's grand finalist 76-68. So Pirates, after a tough loss last weekend to Toowoomba at home, go up north and pick up 2 big wins for the Lady Pirates.
I think it was handy the imports came.
Yeah, that
would have helped tremendously.
Yeah, definitely so. Southwest had a really tough last week against Toowoomba, which I covered through one of my companies. And we did the live stream out there, and it was really difficult because Southwest, they were coming into the season with a couple of big names on the board, and Mia Lloyd obviously coming down and joining the Pirates, and Grace Champion, who had a really, really great season with Southwest last year. She was out with a little bit of an ankle niggle as well. So having Champion back in, Mia Lloyd, I think her visa got approved during the week as well. So having those 2 girls able to travel and play would have been a massive benefit for Southwest.
And you look at the other score in the women's action, 79-73. The Rockhampton Cyclones over the USC Rip City. How about Shyla Hill? We know Chris Sieber has a pretty good friendship with Shyla. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. She's a talent, boy, and not bad to have her filling in while you're waiting on Abby Bishop to arrive back in Australia. Not a bad fill-in, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got the text message from Cam Trigar about his men's program, but gee, his women's program isn't too shabby either.
Yeah, and again, those regional teams have a great opportunity to connect with their local sponsorship, and so they always have a good opportunity to go get a couple of imports or go and recruit that NBL, WNBL talent, which is great.
And Gold Coast here in this one is started to pull away a bit, 39-28, 5:26 to go in the third. Good time out there taken by Coach Marshall.
Yeah, really good couple of passages of play here offensively for Gold Coast. While you guys were checking out the outbound scoreboard, Luna Castro in particular really stepping up and taking a good leadership role in this Gold Coast side, and she's done a great job down both ends of the floor. She's been working hard to pull some defensive boards, getting her hand on the ball and some steals. So Gold Coast really starting to run away with this game. Brisbane just looking a little bit lost, taking rush shots like that one there from Grigg. Brisbane just needs to slow down and start playing the game of ball that they know that they can play, because they're just starting to panic a little bit here, and it's starting to show.
Howard inside. Grigg's been in the paint forever. She's fouled. She's had a few touches and a few looks. She'll go to the free throw line for a couple shots. (39-29) the lead here for Gold Coast. Grigg hits a pair. It's now a 9-point deficit for the Capitals. Here's Luna Castro. Cross court for Patrick. Skips it over to Walmsley. In the corner, Woods. 3-pointer up and good. Sean Woods hitting the big 3. The lead's back out to double figures. 12 is the lead for Gold Coast. Here's a bit of a trap. Brisbane in a bit of trouble. There's the turnover. Patrick comes up with it for Gold Coast. Finds a cutting Walmsley. Good pump fake. Good ball movement. Woods feeling it. Goes up again. Can't get it to fall, and Reed grabs the rebound. Another turnover, though. Patrick again with the steal. Goes right at the defense. Can't get the shot to fall, but she's fouled. And I love the energy here from Gold Coast, David. And I think that's a really positive sign for Gold Coast. When you're struggling offensively, if you could ramp it up defensively, cause some turnovers, leads to a few easy buckets, the confidence starts to build and momentum starts coming your way.
Yeah, they're really turning on the heat against the Caps. And the Caps are really going to water the last few minutes. Again, with my eye, I'd say they've added a 3 or 4 to the 12 in the first half. So, they're really falling apart, and Gold Coast is really putting the throat to the neck. Brizzy's holding on right now.
And you see Gold Coast sticking with the pressure, and why not? It's working. Now I do like the pressure back to the zone. You see, the moment Luna Castro trapped at the top of the zone, she's looking for a switch. Doesn't get it, but stays active and knocks the ball out of bounds. So 7 seconds to go on the shot clock here for Brisbane. They're down 14.
I think the theme here for Brisbane is I think they've had really good energy. Just their execution's been off.
Nice inbounds, though, and Grigg lays it up and in.
And of course, they execute really well. on the out of bounds the minute I say so.
Luna Castro spinning baseline. Pass to Ambrose, stolen by Fagan. Up ahead, Reed. Howard has it looking inside. Woodford recovers. Back out to Reed. Howard at the free throw line. Pass is tipped and then stolen by Luna Castro.
Well, Griggs just got to be more aggressive, Johnny. Just a couple of loose opportunities looking for the pill. But she's just got to be hungry, really clear out.
Walmsley puts it back and plus the foul.
And be a good target.
And that one was too easy there. You'd be disappointed if you're the Capitals. Walmsley just strolled right to an easy offensive rebound and put back.
Yeah, I think defensively the Caps have just switched off a little bit and they're allowing Gold Coast to get those easy buckets. And I think they've put a little bit of focus on their offense and they've tried hard to work down the offensive end of the court and get some points on the board, but they've done that at the sacrifice of their defensive ability because Luna Castro now, having only scored 6 points in the first quarter, while in the first half altogether, is now up to 15 because she's working her way inside and she's making a big effort inside and Caps haven't been able to stop that.
And good recognition of that by Coach Dover, really looking to get her weapon, Jackie Luna Castro, involved as Reed answers the captain from the Caps for three. It's a big bucket there. So we're starting to get away from Brisbane a bit. Obermeyer swings it over to Patrick. Now back to Obermeyer. Kicks it to Luna Castro. Good pump fake there. Patrick can't handle the pass. That's a backcourt violation. So a little better pressure also from the Capitals defensively.
Yeah.
Got to give a shout out to Wayne Moore here at NAB Stadium in Auckland Flower. Wayne, who's looking after us when we come out to NAB Stadium? Pass is tipped and then it's lost out of bounds by Marsh.
Another one, Johnny. I had a look. That's their 18th turnover now for the Caps.
It's just not going to get it done, is it, Dave? I mean, it comes back twofold with the turnovers. A, you're losing possessions, but then you're giving the other team the opportunity to increase their lead.
Yeah, and again, they haven't, as I said, they haven't executed that well, but they're only down 12. Woodford, nice kick ahead.
Reed gets the reverse to fall.
She deserved it. That was a great rim run and a great layup. Now it's a 10-point game.
It's just going to be stringing together a few stops, Dave, isn't it? And then getting a few buckets. Patrick, though, responds for the Gold Coast. She's got a nice-looking jump shot for Patrick.
Yep.
Here's Woodford with it. Minute 25 left in the third. Good defense, but Grigg fouled on her way to the basket. She's going to go to the line for a couple shots.
Yeah, good vision from Woodford then to find the cutter.
And I think, I said it before, but Brisbane is playing pretty good basketball, but they get themselves, they should almost be in in fourth gear, but they seem to be in sixth gear almost. Yeah. They're almost a little too fast.
Yeah, again, I agree. Just that poise, I think, Johnny. They've got good energy, but just that execution bit is lacking a little bit.
And it's where that energy just takes it up that little extra level that kind of makes you lose that little bit of focus. And I think if they can kind of bring themselves back a notch or two, they might be able to perform a little bit better. As Ambrose hits the baseline jump shot. And I think that's something that Gold Coast has done as well in the second half. Is they've played at a fast pace, but in control.
Yeah.
Fagan's three is off,
and again, just one shot, one pass shot.
It's a very different offense from what they played in that first quarter. I commented a couple of times. I think all of us did about Brisbane having a really nice set offense where they pass the ball through 6 or 7 sets of hands. But there we go. We see one pass and a rushed deep two. And it's just not paying off for them at the moment. They've just gone off the offense that was working for them early on.
Gold Coast back into man-to-man here. There's Fagan getting inside. Layup is good. I really like Georgia Fagan's energy. It was a nice take.
Yeah, she's been good.
Luna Castro's open for three. That's rattles home. Jackie Luna Castro and fuego.
Yeah, it's just good basketball. Nice kick ahead to Ambrose. In transition, Ambrose kick it back. Pretty simple.
Yeah, Cap's definitely going to need to find an answer for Luna Castro because those were her 12 points of this quarter alone.
And that is going to do that for the third quarter. A very impressive third quarter here for the Gold Coast Rollers, really opening things up and pushing themselves out to a 15-point lead, 54-39. It is the quarter time break, so we're going to take one as well. We'll be back shortly with the QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It is heading into the fourth quarter of action. It's 54-39 the lead for the Gold Coast Rollers over the Brisbane Capitals here on a Saturday evening in Brisbane.
Johnny, you know you're in trouble when the score bench comments on how bad the turnovers are.
Yeah, what are the turnover
19,
counts?
19
for
Brizzy, 17 for Goldie.
Well, what's the points off of turnovers though, Dave? As Matty Woodford gets inside for the bank.
Goldie's got 24 points off turnovers.
And Brisbane only with 13,
yeah.
So that's almost the difference in the game, Dave.
Yeah.
And speaking of points as well, Gold Coast in that third quarter, they put on the exact same amount of points in that third quarter that they did in the entire first half, 27.
Unbelievable, doubling up in one quarter. And you can see Brisbane's adjustment there. They doubled Jackie Luna Castro in the post. Good choice to do that. You really force some of the other rollers to step up.
If they can just grind out a few good minutes here, some back-to-back stops, build some pressure, Brizzy right back in the game.
Fagan has it in the corner. She brings it back
I'm
out.
with you. I think Donders needs to be more aggressive and get more shots. Not just touches. Shots,
and not jump shots. I mean,
yeah.
she's got a really nice handle on her. I think she could get to the rim, but we said it when she was at Rib. We said it when she was at Toowoomba. It needs to be more aggressive, and still haven't seen it from Donders yet. Luna Castro gets it out to Obermeyer, then back to Luna Castro. Double teamed. Obermeyer goes inside for Pete. Layup is good though from Walmsley.
Some sweet passing from the Rollers.
I don't even know if Pete touched that one, did she? It looked like she did.
I think she had to have, but we didn't have great vision. There was a Caps player in the way.
It's just a very quick hot potato.
Spies has been really aggressive on the glass. She's been one of the positive signs for Brisbane. She gets fouled again. She's going to go to the free throw line for a couple of shots. Well, Spies has been there a few times tonight.
They got to move better without the ball, Johnny, the Caps, because Woodford's doing a terrific job of beating her play every time.
And drawing the defense.
And drawing, and then there's no one to pass to often.
Spies, this is her 5th and 6th free throw attempts tonight. She's 4 of 5 from the charity stripe. Her team's down 14. Second one's good, so Raquel Spies into double digits. She and Emma Reed are co-leaders for scoring for Brisbane. They both have 11. Jackie Luna Castro for the Gold Coast Rollers, leading all scorers with 18 in the game tonight.
And again, just then, Johnny, really good defensive energy there from Georgia Fagan, just getting herself in the right position, just getting away and blocking off that pass. And Brisbane just needs to keep that up. They need to keep up their defensive energy if they're going to get themselves back into this one.
Courtney Pete picks up another personal foul. Her third, the team's third here in the fourth, and it's not really a good sign, Dave. We're a minute 50 into the game, the quarter, and Gold Coast has 3 team fouls, something to keep an eye on that can come into play.
What they don't want to do is allow Brisbane into the game again off the fouls.
There's Donders, finds a cutting Woodford. The layup is no good, though. Sean Woods pushes it ahead. Now Obermeyer has it for Gold Coast. No look. Pete, baseline jumper, rattles home. Courtney Pete's had some pretty good moments here.
Yeah, she's been really good.
Reed brings it back out. Then they swing it over to Donders. Back to Reed. She's open for 3. It's up. It's good. Emma Reed. She can shoot from there. I don't know why Gold Coast keeps leaving her open.
Well, equally, I'd like to see a little more motion action where they're getting into, after some reversals, getting Donders into pick and roll. I think she should, again, the opportunity for her to come off that pick and roll action, but then you've got the shooters, the Brisbane shooters like we just saw.
And a good job there from Pete to get position. It was a tough pass. She was in a really tough position catching it, but drew the contact on Woodford, and she's going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. But I agree with you, Dave. I think, as you said earlier, the Brisbane offense sometimes can be a little bit stagnant, and that's when they get themselves in trouble. Pete's free throw is good. Gold Coast up 13, 59-46. Don't forget, next week we'll be down at the Gold Coast. First up, 12 p.m. on Sunday, will be the women's game as the Rollers take on the Rockhampton Cyclones, followed by the men's game at 2 p.m. between the Gold Coast Rollers and the Rockhampton Rockets. Rockets, one of the early favorites in the competition, certainly have a fairly star-studded lineup, Dave.
Absolutely,
and, the Cyclones, no slouches either. So Rocky bringing a couple of strong teams down to Southeast Queensland next week. And don't forget to tune in live in the Basketball Queensland YouTube channel. Games as always presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. 60-46 the lead here for Gold Coast. Under 7 minutes left in this one. Spies sets the screen for Reed. Then Spies gets inside, lays it up and in, plus the foul. Really nice move there from Spies, going to the offhand and finishing through the contact.
Yeah, really good job taking it straight through Obermeyer. Who didn't do too much wrong, but again, just got to move her feet quicker, get to the spot.
Good recognition there, though, also by Brisbane on the switch.
Yeah.
Spies having the smaller Obermeyer on her in the post. And a good, strong move. She didn't hesitate. Took a couple power dribbles, went to the offhand. Spies has been pretty good tonight, Regan. We didn't see too much of her last weekend.
Yeah, she didn't have a huge impact in the game last week, but doing a really great job out here tonight, Johnny. She hasn't put a lot of points on the board, but she's been everywhere, and she's done a really great job down both ends of the floor.
Yeah, Walmsley hits another 3. She's been one of the better three-point shooters of the night for the Rollers.
Yeah, good-looking bucket. That's well, she hasn't shot it that well. 3 of 9, not too bad, but that was a sweet-looking shot then.
Spies inside on one possession, outside that time. A couple of buckets there. Ball's tipped out of bounds off the hands of Maddie Woodford, so it's going to stay with the Gold Coast. But Raquel Spies is keeping Brisbane within striking distance.
Yeah, well, Brizzy's hanging around, but they need to get some more stops. They need to get it this close. A 12-point game, 6 minutes to go.
Patrick guarded by Howard. There's Walmsley driving baseline on Fuller, and she's fouled. Bucket's not going to count. He's on the floor. Audrey Fuller. A tough assignment trying to slow down Walmsley. Ambrose skips it. Patrick's open, wing 3 up. Too strong. Donders with the defensive rebound. Reed crossing over, gets to the rim. Layup, no good. It's a nice, strong move, just a tough finish. Now Gold Coast looking to push.
Yeah, really strong defensive board there from Pete as well.
Walmsley turns it over. Donders pushing ahead for Brisbane. Now Reed on the wing. Guarded by Patrick, goes to the left. Picks up the dribble. Inside, Spies blocked by Pete. Nice block there from Courtney Pete.
Not in my house.
Derwin wants the Mutombo finger wag.
And they managed to keep the lead too, Johnny, while giving Luna Castro's nice spell.
Donders throws up a shot, and she's fouled, so it's going to be 3 free throws here for Frances Donders. Georgia Fagan getting set to check in. Emma Reed going to get a breather. Donders hits the first. Second good from Donders as well. So the third could bring it back to single digits.
Well, just 2 of 5, Johnny. I think more production is what I'm after from Donders.
A 9-point deficit for Brisbane now, 63-54. Luna Castro on the block, working against Howard. Picks up the dribble, gets it back from Pete. Turnaround jumper is up and good. She makes it look easy, Jackie Luna Castro, but that's a nice turnaround. Yeah, that's a tough jumper.
Pretty well defended too.
Yeah, I think Howard could have done much more than that one. Fagan gets it into the corner for Fuller. They work it back now. Fagan inside, dumps it off. Spies jump shot. Can't fall. Fagan somehow recovers it for Brisbane. They'll reset with Donders. Good pass inside. It was a good look. Howard just wasn't ready for it.
A lot of heat on it.
A lot of heat.
Tough pass.
A little too much sauce?
A little too much sauce. Fuller, Fuller's just checked in. I'm guessing a young Brisbane junior. It's got to look at it's got to square up, mate. Look at the rim.
Got to have a look. That opens up the whole game for you, doesn't it,
well,
Dave?
I think a lot of the time the Caps women have just got to do a little bit of that again. Just catch and square up, engage the defender, and then they can swing the ball.
Luna Castro off a nice pass from Woods. And that's a perfect example of what you're talking about. Woods gets it on the wing, squares up, rips through the defense, gets a path to the basket, and then dumps it to a cutting Castro.
Yeah.
There's Walmsley streaking down the rim to the rim. She's fouled from behind by Spies.
I think that was the old, if she makes it, I won't blow my whistle. If she misses it, I'll blow my whistle.
That doesn't happen, Regan. Come on, let's put that theory to the end right now. Come on, tell us the truth, Regan.
No, it happens. It happens.
And that's okay.
It's not something you enjoy doing, especially not with that much contact. That needed to be called whether it went in or not. Yeah. But, on some of the smaller, soft, nitty-gritty contact. Yeah.
Come on, Regan. You're supposed to stick up for your referee brethren.
I did stick up for them. That needed to be called, and it was called.
She fouled out, I guess.
Spies.
And
that's the fifth for Raquel Spy.
And as you said, Johnny, she was good. 16 points, 8 rebounds.
And what we liked about her, Dave, was the activity around the basket as well. So even though she didn't shoot a great percentage, she got herself to the free throw line quite a bit. Did a lot of damage from the charity stripe. That's what you got to do. If you're struggling offensively, you got to be aggressive and try and get to the rim.
Got to find other ways to impact the game.
Well, it's 14 points the lead now for Gold Coast. We're approaching the 3-minute mark. It's almost now or never for Brisbane. Got to get a couple buckets and get a few stops. Fagan flips it up and in. And
this set, that set then at the 3-minute and 20-second mark was the best they've moved the ball all night. And they got a nice rip and drive to the rim. That's what Brisbane needs to do a bit more of.
Foul called there on Georgia Fagan for the reach-in. Timeout going to be taken here from the Capitals, so we're going to take one as well. 3:04 left on the clock. 68-56 Gold Coast up on Brisbane. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. We're back here at NAB Stadium in Augenflower. Coach Bronwyn Marshall takes the timeout. She knows it's now or never for her troops. They're down by 12 with 3:04 left. Does Brisbane have it in them, Dave, to make a run?
No.
No?
Not based on tonight. Even though the last offensive set was the best they moved the ball all night, I think. But I just think they're just not stopping Gold Coast like that. And they've got every time down this end, Gold Coast has had an answer.
Yeah, I have to agree with Dave. I don't think Brisbane really has it in them to bring this one back. This Gold Coast team, I think Gold Coast was just asleep in the first half because the way that we've seen them come out and play in this second half of basketball is very, very different. They've got a lot of energy. They're hitting shots. They're moving the ball. They're just playing a really strong game of ball, and Brisbane just hasn't been able to step up to the plate and actually defend that.
Oh, Emma Reed hit the three to answer Ambrose's three. It's only 12 points, but the clock's certainly not in Brisbane's favor here. Gold Coast has 14 on the shot clock. And Patrick driving with the left hand, loses the ball out of bounds.
Good D from Woodford. And she's competed all night long.
Maddie Woodford, one of my personal favorites in the QBL competition. Just love her energy. She, as you said, she competes from the opening tip to the final whistle. Flips one up and in. There's Woodford getting another bucket. It's a 10-point game. See if Brisbane can get another stop here. Gold Coast going to be patient, looking to work some clock here. Luna Castro's pass is tipped and stolen by Woodford. Here comes Donders, hands off for Reed. Reed feeling it, fires at three. Oh, that would have been huge for Emma Reed in Brisbane. Looked good from here.
Yeah, it did look good.
See if Brisbane can get another stop here. Woods has it top of the key, guarded by Fagan. Now Walmsley, wing three up. That's off the back of the rim. Gets her own rebound, though, and that hurts Brisbane big time.
Yeah, they just got to burn the clock here.
Woods gets inside, loses her feet, loses it. Fagan comes up with it.
Well, that's the opposite of burning the clock.
Reed, pass tipped out of bounds by Walmsley. 16 on the shot clock for Brisbane. They're down 10, 1:06 left in this game. Pass it, stolen though, and that really hurts, Dave. That one there's no excuse for that. Down 10, baseline out of bounds, and you turn it over. Fagan staying active defensively, comes up with the steal though. Kicks ahead for Woodford. Good pump fake by Woodford. Layup attempt, no good though. Ambrose defensive rebound, and then she's fouled. One's gonna go against Grigg. And that puts Brisbane in the penalty. It's gonna be 2 shots for Sarah Ambrose. And that pretty much does it for the Capitals. Checking in for the Gold Coast, Lauren Scully. And it looks like Hallie Brooker going to get set to check in as well. Ambrose cannot hit the first. Keeping it a little interesting here, Dave. 42 seconds on the clock. Chris, what do you reckon? Over? Yep, Chris Sieber says it's over. It's official. It's over. Tell the referees, blow the whistle now. Chris says we can go home.
In 41 seconds we can, Johnny.
Brisbane trying to get themselves back into this one, but you see here it's just taking too long for them. They need a quick bucket, and that's not it. Luna Castro grabs a rebound. Donders takes a shot. And there's a foul from Maddie Woodford stopping the clock. Sending Gold Coast to the free throw line.
I think lucky that was just a regular foul as well. There was a very obvious grab to the hips on both sides on that play as well. So 23 seconds to go. I guess it's, just end it. But yeah, very, very obvious grab on that one.
Walmsley hits the first one. Walmsley's been good tonight also, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. And shot, I think she was, she was 3 of 9 earlier from 3.
Yeah, the captain has 17 for tonight. 3 of 10 from 3.
Yeah.
I don't, the Gold Coast, I thought, when you look at the percentages, not a great percentage, but feels like they hit threes when they needed them.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think they started 1 of 11, I think, from memory, or 1 of 10. Sorry, the 11th.
They won at 14 at halftime.
Yeah, the 11th they hit, I remember. So they missed their first 10. So it improved a little bit in the second half. But again, I think that a lot of them were good shots for the Gold Coast team. And again, I think they defended really well overall.
3-pointer from Woodford's off. Luna Castro gets it. Let's see if Gold Coast just runs out the clock here, as they're going to walk away with a win. As Donders picks up the foul, Ambrose is going to go to the free throw line for a couple. But it's like night and day, that first half of action, Dave. It was really slow, a lot of mistakes, poor shooting. But the second half, I thought there was some really good action, and I was impressed with the adjustments that Gold Coast made. We didn't see much from Luna Castro in the first half, and they really put a focus on getting her the ball and letting her do her work. As an import, that's what you expect. You expect a big scoring output, and Luna Castro delivered that tonight.
Yeah, 24 and 7, really solid outing for her, and well supported. Ambrose finished with a double-double, 11 and 11.
Yeah, 4 assists and 2 blocks, also 2 steals. So
yeah, Patrick 13 and 9. So certainly good production from the starting 5 for the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the Gold Coast also, only 6 points from the bench. Courtney Pete finished with 6. If they want to try and push for a final spot, you certainly want some more bench production if you can get it from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean only the 6 points, but good production. Again, Pete was really good off the bench. Good rebounding, played good defense, came up with a couple of buckets, had 6 points and 5 rebounds, but I thought really good impact.
Yeah, she was very good. If we look at the Brisbane Capitals, though, led by Emma Reed, 17 points and 5 rebounds, but just not enough scoring, really, for Brisbane. I think Gold Coast came out with better intention in the second half, and Brisbane just couldn't match them.
Yeah, I think Brisbane, I think they just need to work on their mental headspace a little bit as well, because after that defeat last week and coming into the game today, I just think they need to reevaluate where they're at, where their mindset is at, because they're, in that second half in particular, they just didn't look in it. They didn't have the same energy that they came out with in that first half. Their shoulders were shrugged. They just really didn't perform anywhere near as strong as what they did in the first half. And it was the same last week. But this Gold Coast team as well, they need to start faster. They had a very, very slow start to the game. They scored 12 in the first, 15 in the second, but then came out and scored 27 and 22 in the second half. So Gold Coast started out very, very slow, but from what we saw in that second half, they're a really competitive team, and they've got some big-name players that really performed well in that second half, and Luna Castro in particular really shone in that second half.
Yeah, it was an impressive performance from the Gold Coast Rollers, a well-deserved win, 76-61. Don't forget, though, guys, next week we will be bringing you another QBL Game of the Week doubleheader. It will feature both Gold Coast Rollers teams. We have the Gold Coast Rollers women taking on the Rockhampton Cyclones at 12 p.m. live from the Gold Coast on the Basketball Queensland YouTube channel, and that will be followed up by the Gold Coast Rollers men's team taking on the Rockhampton Rockets at 2 p.m. Don't miss out on any of the live action on the Basketball Queensland YouTube channel, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for us here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I do have to thank Regan Baker on the production panel and the commentary. Dave Derwin, as always, on the commentary. Chris Sieber, our wonderful cameraman. And I also want to give a special shout-out to Wayne Moore and Trevor Lidston for looking after us here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. And as always, thank you to the Australian Sports Network and James Bowman for all of your technical and graphics support. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another presentation of the Basketball Queensland QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. We'll see you next time.